Don't see many of you have joined yet. Hello, everyone. Um, I don't see many of you have joined yet. Still, those who are here, can you, before I go ahead with the session, can you guys please confirm if you can hear me properly? Let me just start the poll. Can you guys please use the poll and let me know? All right. All right. Great. Okay. So I see not many of you have joined, only a few of you. Um, So I'll just wait for a few minutes, maybe couple of minutes, and then I'll start with the session. So after 2 minutes, I'll start with the session. We'll discuss the questions and all. All right. I don't see many of you joining, many more joining. So that's fine. I'll just go ahead with the session. Hello. First of all, hello and welcome to this session of percentage and PNL. So we are in this session of GRE where we are going to discuss question related to percentage, profit, and loss mostly. And we are going to cover all the different types of question. When I say all the different type of question, mostly the question related to fill in the blanks, then multiple choice answers, and comparison type questions. Okay. So before I go ahead with the session, let me just give you a little bit of introduction about myself. So I'm Shubhankar. I will be hosting you for this particular session. I'll be hosting this particular session, and I'm the quant lead for GMAT as well as GRE. I have roughly around 10 years of experience, and you can say that is about it. So let us get into directly into the session. So we are going to solve something like 6 to 7 questions in these sessions, different type of questions, and I'm going to tell you um, what are those important takeaways when you solve a question like that. So what are those important takeaways in terms of concept as well as increasing your speed? So one part will always be there about how you increase your accuracy, and then obviously the increasing your speed. Okay, so let us start with this particular question. So I'll be on mute for a minute or so. You choose the answer. Let me put up the option poll for that. Yes, the poll is up, so you can choose your answer. Once I receive the answers, I'll start the explanation. Okay, I have started to get the answer. I'll give 30 more seconds. All right, I'll end the poll now. Okay, so I see only a few of you are here, so and mostly all of you have answered. The answers are mostly varying between C and E. Okay, so let me get into the solution of this. So the question suggests revenue of Joey's bakery business increased by a factor of one third. Now I need to know what is the meaning of a factor of one third. So it basically suggests that it increased by one third of whatever it was earlier. Now it increased by one third. So whenever they use this is a common terminology used. So whenever they use a something like a factor of one third, so always you should be able to understand that initially it was one, now it has increased by one third. Okay, so what it has happened is that it has become four third of the initial amount. So if I start with the amount for 2018 to 19, they said, so if I started with an amount of x in 2018, so now here it will be 4 3 of x. Okay, so it is 2018 and this is 2019. Now they say that, however, due to COVID pandemic, the business took a hit and the revenue dropped by a factor of one fourth. So again, you understand if it dropped by a factor of one fourth, so obviously it must become something like this: one minus one fourth. So if it has become 1 minus 1 fourth, it has become 3 fourth. Now 3 fourth of what? 3 fourth of whatever value was earlier in 2019 basically. So since I'm talking about 2020, I'm talking about 2019. So next year it dropped. So if it dropped by this, so I can say it will be 3/4 of whatever value was there in 2019. So it will be 4/3 of x. So you actually see this when I put this into this type of fraction, when I convert this entire thing into in terms of a fraction, improper fraction or proper fraction, whatever, I actually get everything cancelled. So I see whatever was x here, now the x is same. So it basically means there is no increase. So if it was decrease, so if it was 1500 in the previous year, if this is 1500, obviously this is going to be 1500. Okay, so I'll mark this one and get the answer. For the people who have answered 2500, possibly you have taken an increase throughout. So if you increase initially, or in fact, you took a decrease of throughout, basically something like that you have done. Okay, there are a couple of mistakes that can come here. Possibly you have started with 1500 as 2018, then you increase it by a factor of one third, and again you increased by a factor of one fourth. So if you do that, then you are doing 2500. So basically you haven't, those who have marked that one haven't read the question carefully, that there is a factor decrease dropped by, it is increase, and also this is 2020, so I shouldn't start with 1500 here. 1500 is my last value, since this particular value is given as 1500. Since the second value is given as 1500, first value is also 1500 here. Okay, so I believe there should not be much issue with this question. Let me quickly move to the next question. In case you have any doubt, you can use the chat box to let me know. Since not many are present, so I'm not going to ask the question whether I should move ahead or not. All of you have answered, so I'll just move ahead. In case you have any doubt, you can use the chat box and let me know. Can you try this question? Since this is a question where you need to tell me the answer, what I would suggest is that in the chat you can see there is an option like to everybody. You can change it to admin only. So please use that to admin only option, and then you can reply to me. So that way, others will not get influenced by that response. I haven't received any response yet. I have received couple of responses. Uh, do you mean Raman? Do you mean it's difficult? Okay, I'll give maybe 20 more seconds. All right, all right. Okay, so I'm starting the explanation. I think I have received more than 50% of the like answer. Actually, more than 70% of the people have answered, so that's fine. And a couple of you have doubts and something, so that's fine. Okay, let me give you. Let me first tell you about some observations. Okay, so let us read the question. I'll give you one example, and then I'll talk about this problem. So it says Michael made an investment of this in a scheme that gives Y% per annum compounded annually. That gives a return of this much, Y% per annum. Okay. Now suppose let us not think about Y% and X since all these are variable. Let us take number, okay, and understand what happens. Let's say this person Michael invested $100, okay, and say the rate of return is say 20%. So I understand since it is compounded annually after first year, the amount. Can you guys tell me what will be the amount after first year? Yeah, I mean, if I even receive couple of answers, that's fine. Can you guys tell me what will be the amount after first year? So I said that Michael has invested $100 and the rate of return is 20% per annum compounded annually. Compounded annually. Can you tell me couple of answers and then okay. 120. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So you understand how do I get 120? Because it's simple. That factor we talked about, that factor I'm going to use, right? What is 20%? 20% basically this factor. So if I multiply, I'll get 120. Now understand this particular factor is basically nothing but 1.2. If you calculate, this is 1 and this is 0.2, 1.2. So how do I get the next year? Next year also it will again get multiplied by 1.2. So next year it is going to become 120 into 1.2, which if you calculate happens to be 144. If I go further and talk about third year, I'm going to get 144 into 1.2. So it's very simple. It's like first year it's 100. Next year there is a factor, and that's why we talked about in the first question as a factor. So that factor is important. So you are multiplying by 1.2. Again you are multiplying by 1.2. So basically square. Again you are multiplying by 1.2, which is cube. The same thing happens with respect to formula as well. If you remember, the formula for compound interest works like this: your principal into 1 plus rate divided by 100 raised to the power number of years. Actually, it's little complicated here, but since this is a simple question which is compounded annually, I'm keeping it in. However, in some cases, it may not be in. That's a separate thing. For this particular thing, now you see how it comes in that way. P is our 100. This 1 plus R by 2 I can see is 1.2. So how do I get this n? N is the number of year. After 1 year, it is 1, 2 year 2, 3 year 3. So do you realize that the numbers I'm talking about must be in a geometric progression? I know some of you may not know what is geometric progression. I'll talk about that. Geometric progression is a progression where the numbers are each number is obtained by multiplying a number. So basically, if you remember in school, we talked about the geometric progression in this way: AR square, AR cube, and so on. And what is the rule we have? What is the logic we have for geometric progression? That the ratio of these terms, second term to first term, or third to second, this is same. So it's basically like third term to second term is same as second term to first term. Since I understand the amount I'm talking about, this is the amount, right? I started with 100, then I got this. They must be in geometric progression. So this is what you need to understand. If I'm talking about compounded annually or anything compounded, the amount appears in geometric progression. So if I talked about first year is X, second year is 6,000, third year is 7,200, I know my answer is going to be 7,000. This is the equation I should be able to get, because third year by second year gives me the ratio, second by first give me the same ratio. So I can actually get to this particular answer. So when I get to this particular answer, obviously you can find out what is the value of X. You can simply cancel them if you want. Here you can cancel further 6 by 5. So X is going to be 6,000 into 5 by 6. This is 1,000, 5,000. So some of you got it correct. That's how I can easily get the 5,000 thing. Okay. So that's why in this entire part where we discuss about compound interest, simple interest, we try to give this kind of idea about how you can think logically. If it is a compound interest, if it is a simple interest, how things differ. Okay. So in our course, we have a certain chart as well. We discussed a small chart as well. With the help of that, we try to drive home this point that how they change. So if you understand how these values change, you can actually get solve this question pretty easily. Because once I know, so how will I solve this? If I see, okay, this is my question, I need to find out X. um, I see the years are like first year, after at the end of, so this is initial value, at the end of first year it is end of second year. I know these are the my values. I need to find out this. So this by this equals to be this by this, and then I do the simple calculation. I'm done with that. So it will give me the answer as 5,000. Okay. Since this was relatively difficult compared to the first question we have solved, so I would definitely want that you guys can confirm whether you have understood this or not. So we have discussed this particular thing in detail in the course. So I'll talk about little bit of more idea about that, how you can think about, how you can go about the other scenarios as well. But before that, can you just confirm if I understood this particular part? Okay, perfect. Okay. So what I would suggest is that you should definitely go for the free trial option. So obviously there is one option like the paid one. Okay. That is definitely there. So you can definitely opt for that. So you can try it out for a month or 3 month or 6 month validity, different, whatever you wish or whatever your target are. Apart from that, there is an option to go for a free trial as well. So that is something we should definitely do. So try it out for a week or so and find out whether it helps you or not. Okay. So I'm pretty sure once you go through the course, I mean, whether you go through the verbal or quant, you will definitely understand how it is built. So that will definitely add value. And after that, you can definitely decide whether you want to go for a 1 month or 3 month or six, or you want to go for it or not. So that's totally up to you. But definitely the free trial option you should definitely avail to go through it. You can just take up couple of units. I mean, not all the units you need to take. You can take up couple of units, go through it, and understand how it goes. Okay. All right. So let me now move to the next question then. Uh, Sorry, due to this, I believe you guys know what are the options A and B, right? Actually, this animation in done in a way that options are now getting removed. So I'm not changing it. Just let me know if you guys are not sure about the option. I'll just write down the option. Okay. So this is a comparison question where the options are pretty like standard. So I'll just tell you what are those options. Okay. So these are the options: quantity A greater than B, quantity A less than B, quantity A equals to B, and no concrete relation. So by no concrete relation, I mean if you are not sure which one is more, which one is less. In that scenario, we go for option D. Otherwise, all the first three options are pretty much, you should be able to understand what they mean. Okay. So try it out. I give 1 minute and then I'll start the explanation. Okay, I have started to get some answers. Actually, I have already received half of the answers, so I'll just wait for a few more minutes. Okay. Right, I have received quite a few response. I think most of you have responded, so I'll go ahead with the solution. So the split looks like this. uh, some close to 25 people answered B, 25% close to that C, and almost half answered D, no answer in A. Okay. So I'll talk about which one is the correct option. Okay, let me move to the next one. Now this is a very tricky type of question, but then it's I'll give you different scenarios. I'll tell you how it works. Okay. And just if you understand how it works, then you will not make a mistake. Okay. So understand how exactly it works. So it's kind of a mixing two different phase of the tournament. So understand that part. In the first part, they have won 12 out of 20. Okay, so that number is concrete. I need not to assume anything, so which is fine. Second one, they have changed it a little. They said it's 3/5. So a 3/5 means second one could, I can assume it like in this way. If they have played 5x number of matches. Now understand why I have written 5x, because I need to calculate 3/5. So can I say if the winning fraction is this, here the winning fraction is going to be, number is going to be 3x own, right? So basically I'm talking about, this is my winning, this is the total matches. So winning is 3x, total matches is 5x. Okay, and you are going to calculate the percentage. Now the question is, I have an unknown. Can I still find out the can I still find out the percentage? Okay, I may or may not be able to find out the percentage depending on scenarios. Then how should I approach? Let me just see. Let me just do it in mathematical way first. Then I'll talk about the logic behind that as well. Okay. So mathematical way, if I go by that, I know the total winning will be 12 plus 3x, and the total matches will be 20 plus 5x. Now see, is there anything I can take common? Obviously, I can take 3 common here. Okay. And that will be 4 plus x, and if I take 5 common here, it will be again 4 plus x. So you see, this 4 plus x get cancelled. So can I not say they have owned 3/5 of the match? Now see why it's 3/5, because here it is also 3/5 of the matches. Here also they have given you me the number in such a way it is also 3/5 of the matches. It means what? It simply means that together it is going to be 3/5 only. Since both are 3/5, so there is no other way out. I'll talk about a scenario if it is not 3/5, then what? I'll talk about that scenario as well to just to give you the entire gamut, entire thing how it works. But in the question that are set, many times it is given in such a way that I can actually find out the answer. So the answer here is going to be 3/5, and 3/5 when you translate into percentage, it gives you 60%. That's why the 60% here and the 60% here both are going to be identical, and my answer is going to be C. Okay, so almost 75% of you have got it wrong. Roughly around 72% of you have got it wrong. Okay, few of you got it correct as well, so well and good. Now I'll give you a little different. Now I understand here it is exactly 12 by 20 and 3/5. What if it is not? Okay, so I'll just change the question. So understand, I'm not talking about this question. Okay, I'm giving you a different question so that you understand how this kind of question work. Okay, so I'm just giving you a separate question here. Suppose instead of 12, understand this is a separate part. Okay, this is a separate question. This is not the original question I'm discussing. Okay, so let me just write it for that part. Separate question. Okay, so for the first one it's not 12%, it's 10%. I mean 10 matches. Now how should I know what is going to be the percentage? In such a scenario also, you should be able to see that this is 50% of the winning, this is 60%, right? 350 is nothing but 60%. So when you mix a 50% and 60%, it works very much similar to how the mixture works. If you have a little bit of idea about the mixtures, that if you have a 50% solution and 60% solution, when you mix them, you are going to get something in between. How much? I don't know. That will depend on what are these values. I mean, how big these values or how small these values. Based on that, I will get an answer. However, I can always say my answer is going to be in between 50 and 60. That is definitely going to happen. It has to be more than 50, it has to be less than 60. So had it been 10 as well, suppose had it been, I just changed the question to 10, in such a scenario the answer would have been B, because in such a scenario I know this is going to be, A is going to be more than 50 and less than 60. So they can increase the difficulty level, just making this number, just tweaking this number a little. So what you need to understand is that this works almost similarly to mixtures. Okay, like you may heard of something like allegation, don't go into that, not needed. It works as mixture, so you understand what is the first part of this, which is the first mixture you can consider, and the second part. First winning is 50%, second winning is 60%, overall has to be in between them. That's why I know my answer is going to be B in such a scenario if I put it 10 here. Okay, so I hope you have understood this variation as well. Uh, I'm sorry, but possibly I'll pronounce your name incorrectly. So, is it Mitu? Okay. So you said, please, there is a need for clarification. This 60% doesn't matter, isn't it? Think about it. In A, quantity A, it asked you a simple thing. Team T's overall winning percentages. So what is your answer? Winning percentages is 60% winning. And B is talking about 60%. So do you really need to know 60% of what? They're not talking about that. It is given in terms of percentage. If I compared 60% of something, then I would have been worried. I need to understand what is that something, but I'm not doing that. I'm comparing the percentage term. So one is 60%, another one is 60%. Both are identical. So I really need not to know what is 60% here. Does that make sense? Because you tell me what is your answer for A? Is it 60% of 12x plus this? Is it 60% of 12 plus 3x? Not necessarily. It's 60%, isn't it? Team T's overall winning percentage. What is the answer? 60%. Since it is 60%, I need not to worry about what is With respect to what 60%? My answer for both of them are 60%. Let me know if it makes sense. Had it been some absolute value, then I need to understand with respect to what. But this is, I'm comparing the percentage. Okay. So, Mityu, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. So, can you just please confirm if you have understood that? Then I'll move to the next question. Well, I do not see any response, so I'll just move. Okay. So options remain same. Mm, Option A is the same thing. Quantity. So you can just start answering. You guys know what is the option, so I'm not going to. Raman, I'm not going to answer that question because you should be able to now answer it. Okay, so I'm not going to answer that. What is the value 350, 1170? You should be able to answer. Find out the first percentage, find out the second percentage. Your answer will be in between. Overall has to be in between that. So by that thing, you should be able to understand which was what is going to be the overall. You will get a range. Like I told you, you will not get an absolute value for a higher level question. You will get a range. But as long as you understand the concept and logic behind it, you need not to worry about that. Can you tell me what will be your answer if you change it? So basically, for others, you cannot see it. So I got a query in private where it says that what if the value of 3/5 was not 350, it was 70%. Okay. So obviously, I believe you should be able to answer. No, it will not be D. It will be A then, because my answer would have been more than 60 and less than 70, isn't it? More than 60, less than 70 has to be more than 60, isn't it? The answer would have been A in that such a scenario. See the first percentage, see the second percentage. Your answer is going to be in between. Compare it with the right hand side or option quantity B. Try out this question. Let me put a poll up for this one. Uh, I'm not sure whether this poll is for the previous one or the new one. I don't think I put a poll up for the new question. Okay, so let me just quickly put a poll up for this one. If anyone has answered for the previous poll, kindly answer here as well. Okay, so I put a fresh poll because I don't remember whether I put the poll or not. So please answer it here right now for this question. Okay, I have started to get some answers. Uh, be very careful about questions related to comparison. Even for multiple answers where I do not know, like for the previous example I have given, there is a possibility that I can get the answer. I'm not saying this one I will get the answer, but then I need to be cautious about that part. That if there are multiple option, do I get the answer or not? So I need to be very careful about that part. I have got some answers. I'll give another 30 seconds. All right, 5 more seconds. Okay, I'm ending the poll now. All right. So I have got mostly the answers are C and D. So like one third of you have answered C, one third, two third, almost two third D, one answer in B. So that's fine. So I'll just move to the solution now for this particular question. The one. Yeah. So for this particular question, there are some calculation involved, some definitions are given. So I need to be very sure about what are those definitions. Okay. So a company sold each toy at a price $5 higher than the manufacturing cost. So I understand this is the selling price minus the manufacturing cost. So it's basically the profit they are making, isn't it? Like if they're selling for $5 extra compared to the manufacturing cost, so this is the money they are making. Okay, so this is the $5. How many articles? I don't know. Let me assume, say they have sold X article because I'm talking about the article here. I can see it. So let me talk and say this is total number of articles sold is basically X unit. So it will be 5X. Okay. Now, next, be very sure what it gives. Still, managed to make a net profit. Now, what is net profit? There will be, and like they have explained what is net profit. I'll talk about that later. Expenses of the company includes a 1500 operational cost and a 20% tax on the gross profit. Now, what is gross profit? Gross profit calculated as total revenue minus total manufacturing cost. So total revenue is this one minus total manufacturing cost. So just think about it. Can I say this is definitely this 5x basically the total revenue minus the total manufacturing cost, because they are getting $5 from extra. So definitely $5 extra is going to be, this is, they are the identical thing. Okay, so this particular thing they are also taking a tax of 20%. Okay, so first of all let me break it, since a lot of calculations are involved. First tell me, are you sure about this particular part or not? So I'm just uh, putting up a poll. So can I move ahead? Do you understand that the 5x, when I where I assume x to be the number of items sold, 5x is what is the money they are getting, excess money, the profit part, which is they are talking about the gross profit. Net profit is little different. So gross profit calculated as total revenue minus total manufacturing cost. Okay, so total revenue minus total manufacturing cost is 5x. Do you understand that part? If you say yes, so that will, I will understand that you have understood, or else you can tell me, if you do not understand, you will need to type it out what exactly is the issue. Total revenue is 5x more than total manufacturing cost. That's what they have exactly given. This 5 is nothing but revenue minus manufacturing cost for each item, right? That is 5. So obviously for X item, it is going to be 5x, right? Okay, perfect. I got the response as yes, so I'll move ahead. Now, so once I understand this, now I know they give a tax of 20% on that. So it means out of this, I'll calculate what is 20%. I know 20% is 1/5. So 1/5 of 5x, I'll calculate. So that will be my tax. So they have given a tax of x. So now they are left with 4x. Correct. Now think about that. What exactly is net profit? They now explain that net profit is calculated as profit after removing all expenses. So I know what are the expenses. One expense is tax, another expense is the operational cost. So definitely they have made a profit. This is the money, right? Okay. This is the money after tax. So this is post tax. After that, they will give another, they will again take out 1,500. So that is going to be nothing but their net profit. So the net profit is going to be this. That's what they have mentioned. Net profit is greater than. I think there is a small mistake here. I think the option was 312. So just pardon here. It was 312. It's not 150. It is 312. Okay. However, the answer will not change. We can definitely go by that. That's not a problem. But then, yeah, I'll just put it as 312. Okay. So, so you see 4x minus 1500 is greater than 0. So what is 4x? Greater than 1500, or if you calculate x is going to be greater than 1500 by 4. If you calculate, it's basically x greater than 375. Okay. So if x is greater than 375, definitely I know the total number of products sold must be more than that, because they made a profit. So 375 basically gives you that break even point where they do not make any profit, because each item giving them a $4 of profit after tax. So this $1,500 is basically they need to uh, they must sell 375 items just to break even. Anything more they sell, they will make a profit of it. Okay, so obviously I understand this is more than 375. Okay, so now, so obviously, since I see it is more than 375, I can definitely say the total number of items sold is in this month is definitely going to be more than 375. A is definitely going to be uh, more than B. Okay. So have you understood that? I'll change the question a little just to give you a smaller version. Have you understood what I have done? Some calculations are given, some definitions are given. Sometimes they confuse you with all this definition. Okay. So just go with the open mind that I If there is a definition given, I need to abide by those rules. So what is net profit? They explain net profit is profit calculated after removing all the expenses. So this is the total money they are making after all the expenses. Now, what are the expenses? Tax and operational cost that is given. And apart from that, obviously the cost, other cost is already calculated. You see, the first statement they have given you, that actually leaves me with a little less calculation, because they have removed the total manufacturing cost. Okay, so because they have said each the company have sold each item $5 more than the manufacturing cost of each item. So basically they saved us in terms of having another calculation. So we need not to do one calculation of total manufacturing cost, because they have given total revenue minus total manufacturing cost directly. Okay, so let me know if you have understood. I'll just give a small variation so that you understand how this comparison question can be made trickier. Can I get a response? If you have any doubt, you can use the chat box to let me know. So I put up a poll. Can I get a response in the poll? I do not see any response. Am I audible? Okay, so can I get a response from that one if you have understood? If you have understood, can I get a response there? I haven't seen any. I don't see any response when I put this poll of can I move ahead, which basically represent that you have understood this part. I'll just give a small variation. So can I get some response? I don't see any response, single response here. Now I see a couple of responses. All right. So in case any of you have any doubt. Now, suppose instead of 312, I had it at 412. Can you use the chat box and tell me what would have been the answer? Same question, just 412. Can you tell me what would have been the answer? Same calculation. There is no change in the calculation. What I'm trying to say is that you know that your value of X is going to be greater than 375. Quantity B is 412. Can you guys tell me what will be your answer in this scenario? You can use the chat box to tell me the answer. That's all. You need not to do anything else. You can just use the chat box to tell me the answer. Or let me just put a poll up. Calculation, everything remains. I just wanted to understand whether you understand how comparison question work or not. So I put up a poll as well. You can answer that one. You can use the chat box, whatever you are comfortable. That's fine. Can I get a response? I know the total number of items sold is definitely more than 375. My quantity B is 412. Can I get what is the answer in such a scenario? It's a bit strange because I'm not getting any answer. I don't know. Okay. Someone has said B. Okay. Maybe few more answers. I'll give 10 more seconds. Comparison questions are tricky, guys. I wonder why I'm not getting many responses. Okay, I'll just go ahead with this one. So it's not B, it's D, because I understand it is more than 375. It means It can be less than 412, it can be 412, it can be more than as well. So when I say it is more than 375, anything as 376 and more will work. So if I take a value of 400, then my answer become A. If I take a 412, my answer becomes C. If I take 450, my answer become B. So sorry, my answer become, my bad. If I take 400, my answer is B. For 412, C. For 450, it's A. So it's all the possibilities are there. That's why the answer would become D in such a scenario. Okay. So this will be the answer for separate question. The separate question I give you for 300, 412. So just changing the value can change your answer. Okay. I'll not wait. I'll go to the next question. Okay. Option remains same. This is fine. This is a very straightforward question. I'm not going to discuss that. Can we solve this particular question? Can I get this answer? Can I okay, so let me put the poll up. Try it out. The language can seem a bit tricky, but that's fine. Try to do whatever is given. Poll to answer. The poll is up, so you can answer it. I have already received few answers, few responses, which is good. I'll give maybe 30 more seconds. So this question is mostly about the language. So whatever is the language, if you understand, if you can translate it correctly, then there should not be a problem. I'll give 15 more seconds. All right, I'm ending the poll now. I have received few options, not all, and all the options are those. Most of them are correct actually. Okay, so let me just go ahead with the solution here. So it says a local firm reported that their profit has increased by 20%, while the revenue has decreased by 10% from 2009 to 2010. Okay, so 2009 to 2010. So they're talking about two things. One is profit, another one is revenue. So since I don't know, I can just start with, okay, say in this particular year, the profit is P, and this particular year, and the revenue is R. Okay, and what they said from 2010 9 to 10, profit increased by 20%. So if the profit increased by 20%, I know it's going to be P into 1 plus 20 by 100, or you can directly write it's 1.2p. That multiplication factor we're talking about. And then revenue dropped by 10%, so it's going to be revenue minus 1 minus same thing, so it's going to be 0.9 r. So these are the values I have with respect to whatever information is given. Now, next is profit as a percentage. Profit as a percentage of revenue has increased by how many percentages? Now, this is tricky. This particular part. So, this is basically a translation going on. I need to understand what exactly. So, profit as a percentage of revenue. Now, what is profit as a percentage of revenue? So, profit as a percentage of revenue. So, that's they're talking about. So, obviously, for first year, it's going to be this, and next year, it's going to be profit, which is this, as a percentage of revenue is going to be this into 100. So if you just simplify, if you just remove this decimal and simplify, you are going to get 4p by 3r into 100. Okay, so this is what profit as a percentage of revenue. Okay, has increased by how many percentage? So I need to understand from here to here, because during that time they have mentioned what is the increase in percentage. Okay, so you know, how do I calculate, how do we calculate percentage? Okay, so let me just, so when you have an initial value and you go to a final value, the percentages are calculated as final minus initial by initial into 100. So this is a rule which will apply everywhere. So I'll do final minus initial by initial into 100. Okay, now if you just see here, this part can be simplified. This particular part can be simplified as final by initial minus 1 into 100 as well sometimes. So what you need to understand here is that final by initial ratio is enough. Okay, for this question it may not be needed because I know all the values of final and initial, so I'll just put those values, I'll get the answer. So I'm just moving to the next page. So it says initially it was P by R into 100. This is my initial value. My final value is 4p by 3r into 100. I need to calculate f minus I by I into 100. Just to make it bit simple, I can calculate this as well. So I'll just put this final value. What is final value? 4p divided by 3r into 100. What is initial value? It is p by r into 100 minus 1 into 100. Okay, so I'll just simplify. So how it will look like, I believe you guys know that it will be 4p into 100 will be here, 3r will come here in the denominator, p will remain in the denominator, 100 will remain in the denominator, r will be in the numerator. So that's the simple calculation I'm going to do here. So obviously p gets cancelled, r gets cancelled, 100 gets cancelled. So all I'm looking at 4 by 3 minus 1 into 100. This is 1/3 into 100. So you know what is 1/3 in terms of percentage? 33.33. So obviously this calculation you can do it very quickly because you understand now. So this is the mathematical way. Now I'm giving to give you the logical way. It is P by R into 100. Now it is, see this term. It is 4/3 P by this. So can I say that I have multiplied by a factor of 4/3? Since I have multiplied by a factor of 4/3, it must be coming from this 1 plus 1/3. So this 1/3 is the percentage increase. Think about it, what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying, if I go with P and then I say increase it by 20%, how do I write it? I write it like this, right? So this is my factor. So it is 1 plus this part represent what is the increase. So this part must represent what is the increase. So the increase is one third, which is 33.33%. So I not really need not to answer in this way. I need not to calculate and simplify. Even if I look at these numbers as initial and final and see what is that factor I'm multiplying with, I'll get the answer. Okay, someone said, please correct the revenue. Okay, yeah, correct. Actually, it was in my mind, it was 100, 10. So that's why. Thanks. Thanks. It has to be 1 minus 10 by 100. So you have understood. That's great. Okay. So quickly, let me move to the next question. So I believe you have understood how it goes. And in a percentage question, always look for final by initial, because that is going to be very tricky point that I need not to know all the values. I just need to know the final value and ratio of final and initial value. That's it. That's all I need to know. Okay. So if this is fine, I'm moving to the next question, which will be the last question of this session. Okay. A lot of like similar to the one of the previous question we solved about profit. Here also some profit loss is going on, is some calculation is involved. Okay. So try to get it, and there is no option. So try to get it correct. Okay. And let me know. Let me know what is your answer. Use the Please use the private messaging option to answer. Yeah, please use the private messaging option. Do not use the common chat to answer. I don't want others to get influenced. Okay. So yeah, let me know once you are done with the answer. You use the if I get more than yeah. So if I get more than 50% of the answer, I'll start the explanation. I have received a few answers. I'll start the explanation. Only thing is that I asked you to not post it publicly, so I'm just removing that answer. Okay. It may or may not be correct. I'll discuss the question and how you go about this such a question. Okay. I give 30 more seconds if I get any more responses, or else I'll start the explanation. All right, so I'm starting the explanation. I have received a few answers, but then I haven't received one which is correct. Okay, I think I have received some answers here. Let me check it. No, I haven't received any answer which is correct. Okay, I'm not sure you have understood the question correctly or not, because most of the answers are pretty like some of the answers, not most. Some of the answers and is not even in percentage. It seems okay. Anyway, I'll just go with this one. So a customer came with the order of 10 shirts. Since he was buying 10 shirts at a time, the shopkeeper gave him a discount of 20% on the mark price. Now, what exactly mark price? So there are, you should know that there are three different types of prices are there: cost price, selling price, and mark price. Okay. So there is a mark price. I don't know what is the mark price. So what I can do is that I can assume some values. Okay. If you think, how do I know it's 100 or something? Generally, we tend to assume it the value to be 100. Even if you are not sure how to assume, whether you can assume 100 or not in that scenario, you can always assume it to be 100x. Okay, because since you are putting a variable, so you are not wrong. X can take any value and it will take care of itself. If you are not confident whether putting an absolute value of 100 will make sense or not, if you lack that clarity and you are doubtful about that, you can always assume to be 100 into some variable 100x. So they give you a discount. Okay, so I can see the discount after 20% discount, it has must have come down to 80x, which is easy to calculate. So now the shopkeeper offered, okay, you need to pay 80x. The buyer requested a further 12.5% discount, on which the shopkeeper agrees. So shopkeeper agrees to this. Now, so buyer asked for another 12.5%. What is the meaning of 12.5%? So you should know this percentage conversion are important. Like some of you have seen that one third, I mean, all of you have seen that one third was 33.33%, right? If I say what is half, it is 50%. Similar way, 1 by 4 is 25%. So 1 by 8 is nothing but 12.5%. So these percentages till 1 by 12 is something definitely must, ideally, and ideally till 120, but at least till 112, 1 by 12, you should definitely remember them because they are very frequently used. So once I see it is 12 point, that is the discount, I know it's going to be 1 minus 1/8 of discount. So it is going to be 7/8 of 80, which you can easily calculate. Okay, now this person is offering, this person is saying, the guy is saying, the customer is saying, I'll pay 70x. Okay, now coming to next part. The shopkeeper still agrees. Now, why the shopkeeper agrees? Because still he was making a profit of 40%. Now think about it. This 70% is where the shopkeeper agrees. So if shopkeeper agrees at 70x, this is going to be cost price, selling price, because that's what that person is agreeing to. Okay. So now if this is my 70x, definitely I understand that there is a profit from this cost price. Say C, there is a profit of 40%. So how do I get 40% profit? So definitely if the cost price is C, understand, if you make a profit of 40% on that, this is going to be 1 plus 40 divided by 100. Okay. This is going to be your selling price, 70x. So what is C? 70x. This, if you calculate is going to be 7 by 5. It will be 5 by 7. So what I'm getting here is that 50x. So basically the cost for the seller, the shopkeeper is 50x. The markup price the shopkeeper has is 100x. So obviously you can see from 40x, 50x to 100x, there is a double. So definitely there is a 100% markup going on there. Okay. So how much above the in percentage, the cost price, the list price of each share. So list price is nothing but the mark price. Okay. So that is going to be 100%. I'm not sure whether how you are getting all these values of like 138 point something, 172.5, 70% or something, because the values were given in such a way which gives you a pretty good numbers. Like 100x, you drop by 20%, you get 80x. You drop by another 12.5%, so you get 70x. Now that 70x includes a profit of 40%. So definitely I understand that how I calculate that one, which will be 50x. So 50x to 100x, there is a 100% markup. All right. So this question, no one got it correct. All the answer options I have got. Okay. I have calculated. That's how I got it, right? How did I get the CP? I have calculated, isn't it? The cost was C. I didn't assume or anything. I just simply calculated. If the cost is C, there is a 40% profit, which is this, and that gives me the total price, which is the selling price, 70x. So you just solve for C. You find out what is C. And that once you see, find it out, you will get 50x. Yes, so SP is how you are getting 70x, because some cost is there, which is elevated by 40%, increased by 40%, and then it has become 70x. So 50x, just think about it. If you have 50x, I didn't say aim, I said x. Okay, just to, so I'm getting a query in the private, so I'm answering. So if you see it, if you have 50x and you increase it by 40%, what is 40% of 50x? 20x. So you get that 70x, isn't it? So the calculation is this one, the left hand side of the screen, whatever calculation you can see, that's the calculation. So you can just go for find out the C. Okay. So just let me know if it makes sense. All right. So with this, I'm at the end of this session. Okay. So I hope you have understood that how these factors and all those things helps in a question, how translation is important, how question related to profit and loss, just understanding that final, I mean, or increase profit, percentage increase, question where we talk about percentage increase, final by initial is tricky. How important is comparison question? In understanding the comparison question is also very important. Okay, so these will be the takeaways that, and also obviously in one of the question we discuss about SICI. Now I understand there are a lot of takeaways in a small session like that, so what I would suggest is that you definitely go to our website. Okay, and then register for the free trial, go through these topics, and if you find it useful, obviously you can go for the next step of like going as a, I mean, enroll as a student. But that's definitely not something you obviously need to do. Obviously you can definitely take a call, but the free trial option you should definitely do. Okay, so if there is any query or anything, you can definitely ask me, or else I'll end the session. Can you tell me what is the final answer you believe? I told the final answer for the previous question multiple times, but can you tell me what is the final answer if my cost price is 50x and my mark price is 100x? Can you tell me what will be the answer? Because if you have understood the question, you should be able to tell me the answer as well. Can you tell me what is the answer? This is a session for GRE, Shashank. Raman, any kind of question like that? Okay, so is it related to this particular question? You need to reach out to the support team. So you can just go to the support team. Okay. You can just talk to the support team. You can drop a mail or drop a message to that WhatsApp number. Reach out to them if there is any thing. So it's the value. I mean, those are already in terms of discounted price. So I'm not sure about that, but all these calls are support team take. Yes, Ruchi, that's correct. It's 100 because from 50x to 100x there is a 100% jump. I mean, if I really need to calculate, I'll do this: 100x minus 50x final minus initial by initial into 100. That's what I'll do. So that will give me my answer to be 100. Yes, correct. That's 100%. So list price and mark price are used invariably. I mean, they are used interchangeably and they are the same thing. They are not different. List price, think about mark price is what is marked, list price is what is listed. Both are identical. Okay. All right. So I'm ending the session then. Okay, all the best, guys. Hope you like the session, and definitely, like I told you about the free trial option, this is something will be I'll strongly recommend. Definitely go through it. Okay. All right, Roman. Okay. Cool, cool. Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again. Have a lovely weekend. I mean, it's only Saturday afternoon or night for most of you. So yeah, all the best to the preparation as well. Take care. Bye.